You're listening to the main event with Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. on WHIP.
Yes, that's us, WHIP Radio here in Philadelphia. We're getting you set for the World Series that will start tomorrow night, 8:07 p.m. as Kansas City and the Giants will get ready to square off, and whoever wins 4 games will be your World Series champion. They're calling it a team of destiny up against a team of consistency, and one man that is always consistent, and he's the best MLB insider in the business. You can catch him writing for CBS, also an insider for the MLB Network and WFAN, and that is our good buddy Jon Heyman. John, Zach, and Chase here in Philly. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing great, and we appreciate you giving us a few minutes today. And yesterday, while I was watching a lot of football on my couch, seeing a bunch of games go on, and there was a lot of good football yesterday, I saw a retweet come across my Twitter page, at Zach Gelb, and it said that you had the Kansas City Royals in the World Series back in March. That's a hell of a call. What you see in this KC team back in March that you thought they could get back to the World Series?
A lot of people were shocked by that pick. I didn't find it that shocking. I believe they won 86 games last year. They improved, I thought, over the winter, adding Infante. I like Aoki, helping them out at the top of that lineup. They're a young team, so I generally like young teams now getting better. Rather than picking the older teams, I think that's probably the way to go. They have good talent. They have very good pitching. They have a bullpen, and they have great defense. So, to me, it wasn't that outlandish to pick them in the World Series. Of course, I had them losing the World Series at the beginning of the year to the Dodgers. Now I'll probably pick them to win the World Series.
You see this team, and especially the way that they have won games and how long they have consistently been losers for the 20-plus years. You hear people throw out the word destiny. They were down 7-3 in that wild card game. They came back and won. They won every game in this MLB postseason. They took care of Baltimore in 4 games, and they're winning with playing small ball. Is this Kansas City team just a team of destiny? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in that, but I will say this. I was there for that wild card game. They were down early to Leicester, 2-0. They were down 7-3, as you mentioned. Came back to win. I think that helped them relax. Once they won that game, they figured, you know what, we've accomplished more than anyone expected us to accomplish. We made the playoffs. We beat Oakland. We're now in the final 8, and I think they probably relaxed, and they've been playing like they're relaxed and confident. So I think that game was an impetus for better things. I'm not sure if there's such a thing as a team of destiny. The Giants seem to win every other year. Are they teams of destiny? I don't know.
You're talking about a Giants team that's going for its 3rd ring in 5 years. And if Bruce Bochy is able to get another ring, you're talking about one of the better managers in baseball history.
Oh, yeah, I think he's the Hall of Famer after winning 2012. You have 2 World Series titles, and I understand right now Tom Kelly and Cito Gaston are not in the Hall of Fame with 2 World Series titles. But to me, Bruce Bochy won those 2 World Series titles without overwhelming talent. He had very good pitching. It was a good formula, but to win titles like that, Cody Ross was the offensive star in the 2010 team. 2012 team, I think, was a little bit better offensively, but not an overwhelming team. Obviously, Posey is a great, great star. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Sandoval, very, very talented player. Hasn't put together a big regular season yet, but they obviously have a 3 and a 4 hitter, which Kansas City doesn't. Kansas City's got a nice, long lineup, but really doesn't have an established 3 and 4 hitter. But I think Bochy is a Hall of Famer as we speak. I don't think he needs to win this World Series.
Now, the Royals get back to the playoffs for the first time since 1985, and we all know some of the things that they had to deal with. I mean, this was an irrelevant franchise a couple of years ago, but what has helped the Royals get back to this point?
Well, they obviously had some very high draft picks.
Yeah.
As Tampa did years ago, and they obviously Tampa loaded up with Bryce and Longoria and people like that. They didn't get them all right. Obviously, they missed on Posey, but with the Giants at number 5. But the Kansas City had those high picks, and Moustakis and Hosmer were 2 of those high picks, and they turned out pretty good. Obviously, having big postseasons. And I think they're up-and-coming stars. Not stars yet, but on their way to becoming stars. I think the general manager, Dayton Moore, has done an excellent job with trades. He was criticized heavily for the James Shields trade. But I think anytime you get an ace in trade, you're going to have to give up a lot. And Will Myers, I understand, is a very big prospect. I don't think he's the next Mike Trout or anything like that, but he's going to be a very good player, might be an all-star at some point. But James Shields helped turn this franchise around. And so did Wade Davis, who they converted to a bullpen piece, and not just a piece, but an excellent bullpen guy, maybe the best reliever this year. Dylan Betances, I know, was spectacular, but Wade Davis might be the best of them all in the 2014 season. So that was a great trade, and Dayton Moore, the general manager, made several great trades. The Greinke trade wasn't that well received at the time. He needed to trade Greinke, who wasn't going to sign long-term. Came up with Lorenzo Cain and Alcides Escobar, two middle of the lineup, middle of the order, middle of the field players who are excellent defensively. I think Kansas City has a formula for defense, and I think it's paid off. I think they're probably the only team with an above-average defender at every position. And I give Dayton Moore this year a lot of credit for what they've been able to do.
That bullpen has been sensational, and they've been shorting games in this postseason because of their big three in Herrera, Davis, and Holland. You've seen a lot of good bullpens in your time covering the MLB. Where does this one rank up with some of the other good bullpens that you've seen?
I mean, it's up there in the top five. You know, it's just my memory now. I still the Yankees when they had Wetland and Rivera and Stanton and Nelson and Ramiro Mendoza. I mean, that was a pretty deep bullpen, and tough to top that one probably. But Nancy Boys, the Reds were awfully good as well. I think Toronto, which goes overlooked, that they had Henke and Ward in the early 90s and won the World Series. I thought that was pretty darn good as well. There have been a lot of good bullpens. I think bullpen with Dennis Eckersley was pretty good. But I would say probably top five over the past 25 years.
Jon Heyman joins us right now from CBS and MLB Network and also WFAN previewing the World Series that gets ready to get underway on tomorrow night, Tuesday at 8:07 on Fox. And John, you look at both of these bullpens, they're both good. Obviously, you give the edge to Kansas City. But in the starting rotation, can the Kansas City Royals starting pitchers match the San Francisco starting pitchers? Because Madison Bumgarner has been fantastic in this postseason.
Yeah, he's clearly the pitcher who's pitching the best right now in this postseason, and he certainly is a major factor in this series. I do think the Giants' rotation is probably a little bit better than the Royals at this moment. But sure, it'll be interesting. He had a little shoulder concern against the Angels. We'll see how he does. A very, very talented pitcher, but young. Obviously, Peavy isn't what he was, but he's certainly performed superbly once he's gone over the National League. Of course, now he's facing an American League team, not a typical American League team. A lot of people will say the Royals are kind of a National League style team, so maybe Peavy will do well with this. Overall, the Giants' rotation is good, but it doesn't have Kane. He's out for the year, obviously. No Lincecum, who's been a big star for them in the past. Looking at the two rotations, it's pretty close. So, I'm not going to say that the Giants have a major advantage. Certainly the games that Bumgarner pitches, they'll have an advantage because he is obviously very, very hot right now, and he has pitched better than anybody else during the season among these two teams and their starters.
John, such an underrated facet in sports is not how a team plays on the field, but how they get along off the field. And the Giants are just a perfect example of a tight-knit clubhouse. And Hunter Pence has been an integral part of the closeness of that team. And Phillies fans are still bitter that the team gave him away for virtually nothing. But just talk about how close the Giants are, because that has really helped catapult them to making it to 3 World Series in 5 years.
Yeah, well, good chemistry can't hurt. There's no question about that. And Pence certainly has proven to be quite a winning player, and certainly is in the middle of that clubhouse, giving speeches when necessary. He's just that type of ball player and has become a leader. And I give him credit for that. They have guys who really want to win. I think that's a factor. I'm not in that clubhouse that often to know exactly about the chemistry of the team, but I think they have guys guys who are winners and guys who want to win very badly.
Last one from me. KC gets home field advantage, so the Giants are going to have to utilize the DH. I saw right before the show that Michael Morse is probably going to be the guy in that slot. How do you think the role of the DH affects the series?
Well, Morse gives them a little extra power. These are two big ballparks. Morse obviously has the power to hit it out in either park, but the Giant lineup has not been overwhelming in any of their World Series years, and give them credit for getting there. They went on defense and unusual picks. Who would have thought Travis Ishikawa was going to be a star of the postseason? He did make the Pirates. That was even somewhat of a surprise at the beginning of the year, but was quickly replaced by Ike Davis. The Giants, it's amazing to me how the Giants are able to do this without too many big stars. Obviously, they're losing Pagan. They don't have him. He was an integral part of the 2012 team. He's not there now, and they're able to win with pieces that you don't expect. But they are a National League team that does have a guy who is a natural DH, so I don't think it gives them as big a disadvantage as some NL teams have going into World Series.
On the way out here with Jon Heyman, who joins us right now, breaking down the World Series that gets started tomorrow night between the Royals and the Giants. I read an article over the weekend comparing Derek Jeter to Buster Posey. Obviously, Posey, you called him a future Hall of Famer. He's already won an MVP, has 2 World Series, has a chance to try to bring home a 3rd ring. Do you see any similarities between Jeter and Posey?
Sure. I mean, both terrific players. I think Posey's one of the best players in the game, probably even underrated. If you're going to start a team, and I said this at the beginning of the year, the 3 guys I would start with would be Trout, Kershaw, and Posey. And he was my NL MVP pick. That won't come through, obviously, as I think Kershaw is likely to win that award this year. But just a quiet guy who wants to win badly, terrific offensive catcher, which is a very big advantage. Mike Piazza gave the Mets a big advantage, and the Dodgers previously having a catcher who can hit like that is huge. He's the best hitter, and he's the catcher. You don't see that with too many teams. He's a terrific guy and a terrific young player. I do think there are similarities. You don't see too many guys like Derek Jeter win 4 out of 5 championships. I don't know if that'll ever be duplicated. As you said, Posey will have 3 out of 5, which is amazing to me because the Yankees had much more overwhelming type teams, especially throughout the lineup and the starting pitching too. It's really shocking to me that the Giants are in the World Series and have a chance to win their 3rd World Series in 5 years, and Posey deserves a lot of that credit.
No question about that. Before we let you run, Jon Heyman, give me one thing Kansas City needs to do to win this World Series, and give me one thing that San Francisco wants to do if they want to bring home another championship.
Kansas City just needs to keep playing like they've been playing, which is spectacular defense. And not so easy to do, but easy for me to say. Spectacular defense and basically error-free. The Giants are going to take advantage of mistakes, and even the Cardinals made a few mistakes and opened the door, but Kansas City just needs to keep the same mindset they have going from the beginning here, from that first victory over the A's, the first-half rival of the Giants. It'd be interesting to see them finish it on. Start with the Bay Area and end with the Bay Area, but that's what they have to do. The Giants, I never predicted them to win it.
No one ever does.
I don't want to pretend to be an expert on the Giants. They're just an amazing conglomeration, and I give them credit. Obviously, if Peavy and Hudson can pitch well, I think that will help their chances. Obviously, 2 guys who have had great careers near the end of their careers now. They need to pitch well against this American League team to do it, though.
Well, John, enjoy the baseball. It should be a tremendous fall classic. We appreciate a few minutes of your time today. Thanks so much, and have fun out there in Kansas City tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
There's Jon Heyman joining us on the hotline right there. Okay, that's all the time we actually have today because it is a Monday, so I have to get out a little bit early, and so does Chase for class. So we do appreciate Jon Heyman for joining us in addition to Harry Donahue. Real quickly, because we're not going to be on air tomorrow because John and John are on the Tuesday program, and we'll be back on Wednesday. Give me your World Series prediction. Are you going Royals or are you going Giants, and in how many?
It's just two hot teams. It's really hard to pick one team that's going to come out with the win, but I'll give the slight advantage to Kansas City. They have the DH, their experience with the DH. They have the home field advantage. And I think that their offensive production and the way that they've been winning is a little bit better than what the Giants have done. And I think, frankly, that KC has the better bullpen by a slight margin.
It comes down to, can San Francisco split in between the first two games? I think they can split. Then you have 3 out in San Francisco. That's where I think the Giants take advantage of this one. They'll go back to Kansas City up 3-2, enter into Game 6, and they'll cap this thing off in a tremendous 6-game series. I like San Francisco. They just always find a year to get in here every single year. Who I'd like to see I'd like to see Kansas City because they're just the better story, and they really are looking like a team that just finds a way to win. They haven't lost a game in this postseason. We're down 7-3 up against John Lester and the Athletics, and they came back, and they've been doing it all small ball. So it may not be a flashy World Series, but I do believe that this is going to be a fantastic World Series. Okay, but that's all the time we have for you today. Once again, we'd like to thank Harry Donahue and Jon Heyman for giving us a few minutes. We will be on the Matt Rule Weekly tomorrow on Tuesday via Comcast 50, Verizon 45. You could catch John and John back here tomorrow sitting in these chairs for the main event, and then we'll be back on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Time in the WHIP studios is 11:52. The Temple Sports Hour is coming up next. Have a great day, everybody. Stay warm on this chilly Monday. For Chase Sr., I'm Zach Gelb. Peace!